Now, you may have noticed I opened the segment with a hearty shalom, which is appropriate because this week Israel came up again in Washington when two members of Congress's far-left foursome known as the Squad saw their applications to visit Israel knocked back by the government in Jerusalem. I know, right? It's amazing that Israel decided to having Ilhan Omar and her sidekick Rashida Tlaib, who cooked up some very strange story about wanting to go visit her Palestinian grandmother, over to the country for a cup of tea just wasn't worth the hassle. What would have given them that idea? Could it have been Omar's history of virulently anti-Semitic tweets about how Israel, she means the Jews, control the world? Or perhaps it was Omar's fellow squad member Rashida Tlaib's history of unhinged behavior, such as this outburst when she had to be physically removed from a Trump rally back in August 2016.
You guys are crazy!
You're an animal! Get a job!
Not sure if you heard the person in the background shouting at her to get a job, and, well, she took the advice, unfortunately, because she wound up getting that job in the U.S. Congress. But what can you do? Anyway, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted in announcing the decision to knock back their application that only a few days ago we received their itinerary for their visit in Israel, which revealed that they planned a visit whose sole objective is to strengthen the boycott against us, that's Israel, and deny Israel's legitimacy. You can say that again. Tlaib's and Omar's official itinerary was headlined, U.S. congressional delegation to Palestine, a country that doesn't even exist, rather than Israel. And it turns out that the whole thing was put together by a virulently anti-Semitic outfit called Mitfa. How anti-Semitic? Well, MIFTA on their website has in the past published articles pushing full-on blood libel, accusing the Jews of using the blood of Christians in their Passover rituals, as well as hosting an article by an American Nazi called Who Rules America? The alien grip on our news and entertainment media must be broken. Ugly, ugly, ugly stuff. And this is the outfit that two American lawmakers were prepared to team up with for their trip to Israel. But you wouldn't know it from listening to the Washington Post or the New York Times, which editorialized that MIFTA was simply a group that, quote, promotes global awareness and knowledge of Palestinian realities, unquote. This is, of course, a laughably evil whitewashing of reality akin to calling Hitler an early advocate for European Union. Look, Israel has every right to deny entry to anyone it deems unfit, even members of the Squad. Indeed, in 2012, the Obama administration did the same thing to an Israeli Knesset member it deemed too right-wing. But as we know with the progressive left, if it wasn't for double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. And as always, the last word has to go to President Trump, who saw through Tlaib's farce and yesterday fired off this little summation on Twitter. Representative Tlaib wrote a letter to Israeli officials desperately wanting to visit her grandmother. Permission was quickly granted, whereupon Tlaib obnoxiously turned the approval down, a complete setup. The only real winner here is Tlaib's grandmother. She doesn't have to see her now. So you've got, this very serious problem of anti-Semitism in the left, anti-Semitism in the Democratic Congress, anti-Israeli boycotts, but Donald Trump there, just with that one tweet, I think just hit it out of the park.
Brilliant.
It was one of his all-time great tweets. It really was. But yeah, that letter was made public. It just shows this entire ruse was just a way to, one, dominate the media cycle, and two, to bash Israel, because they had no intention of ever going. They wanted to be denied. They wanted to play the victim. She was granted permission to visit her grandmother and then said, no, not interested.
Trump at his best, at his wittiest.